continues next week. I can't believe what we have witnessed.
3rd down and 7. Blitz coming. Spade in trouble. The ball's loose. Scooped up by Colorado, and a big man running all the way in for the touchdown. It's Derek McCartney.
Well, undoubtedly, Derek McCartney can be ferocious on the football field. That was a great play at the Big House with Michigan last year in the Colorado Buffaloes. He's also a giver, but then when you think about it, that's in the heart of a Buffalo. Derek McCartney. John Steele is our special guest on Voice of the Buffs. Mark Johnson, if you hadn't heard the story by now, it's been fantastic. Derek McCartney taking part in a Be the Match program, bone marrow transplant. John, and the irony of this is just rich on many fronts, but he's in Omaha, Nebraska, dealing with leukemia, and his match ends up being a Buffalo. Gentlemen, congratulations. The irony is outstanding. John, as we sit here today, what goes through your mind? What are you thinking? What are you feeling about this? As you finally met, by the way, your donor.
Yes, this is the first time we've met. We've never even spoken on the phone. We've texted, emailed. I was a little overwhelmed coming in.
I bet.
I've been looking forward to this day since the day of the transplant. And I mean, I've read about him on the internet. Once we found out, under the program, you can't find out who your donor is for at least a year.
Okay.
And they have to consent to it. And I was so happy that Derek consented to it. And since then, I've been reading all sorts of articles on him and pictures. I got a picture of him in my office. And, he's just a phenomenal guy.
Well, and you know the thing about it, having gotten to know him over the course of his career, he's as good as you think he is. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I believe it.
A number of years. Derek, go back to March of 2016, the Be the Match campaign that Coach Mike McIntyre brought here, and you guys jumped in, and you never hesitated to be part of the program, huh?
Yeah, I mean, when Coach got here, he had us all sign up, and he asked us to, obviously, and I was like, you know, I think I could do this, and I was like, yes, I'll do this, Coach, and so I signed up, not really knowing what I'm getting into. Just they tell me it's likelihood of being a match for anyone, like, just not high at all.
Right.
So, you know, I sign up and thinking it's never going to come out to anything, and then years later I get a phone call and I'm like looking at it, and I was like, huh, who is this? And normally I let that go to voicemail, but for whatever reason I answered it. So I answer it, and it's Be the Match. They tell me, you know, you're a 10 out of 10 match with somebody, and I was just like, after that conversation, hearing that, I was like, wow. Like, I don't even know, like, what to think. Like, that's crazy. Like,
right.
In that moment, I just remember being surprised, and, you know, I prayed about it, and I was just like, you know, I don't see why I wouldn't do this. Like, it just made sense. It was a commitment that I kind of signed up for, and I figured, you know, as a person I've been raised to be, I need to honor my commitment. And so I didn't even really think twice about it, and, you know, meeting John today, it's just awesome. So it's awesome.
John, go back to the moment that when you find out you're dealing with leukemia.
Yes.
And obviously things are very dire at that point in time.
Yes.
And then you find out you've got a match someplace. That had to be an exhilarating day.
Oh, it was. Yeah, I'd gone through all the chemo and everything for about 5 months. And then oncologist talked about possible stem cell transplant. And him and hawed about it for a while because there's risks. And once I finally bit the bullet and said do it, we thought my brother could be a match, but he couldn't. So we went to Be the Match and found someone. Mm-hmm. I found Derek, and it took like a month.
Right.
Was all. And Dr. Manis at the Nebraska Medical Center called me and said, we found you a match. Let's get it scheduled.
John, how are you doing now health-wise?
Generally pretty good.
Good.
A few bumps in the road, but
good.
Not unexpected, and the doctors are handling it for me.
All right. And the prognosis is all good.
Still in remission.
Fantastic.
And hopefully forever.
Well, God bless you. Now, most importantly, that's a pretty athletic young man you got sitting next to you. Has it increased your vertical leap or your speed or anything? At this point, nothing?
No, not yet. Unfortunately, I was sure hoping. And like I was telling the folks earlier, my wife was hoping I'd get as good looks.
Well, that's great stuff. Derek, how do you feel about this after meeting John?
You know, I'm just so thankful. You know, meeting John, he's awesome, and I'm just so thankful I got to be part of something like just bigger than myself and part of something for you, John. And you know, I don't really know how else you can feel in this situation, but I just am so thankful. I'm overwhelmed by, you know, the joy I feel from this experience.
Yeah. And a connection that'll never go away.
It never
Absolutely.
will.
And love to see the fact that a Buff was helping a Husker. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for the world,
I'll
right?
take it every day of the year.
Every day.
John, congratulations. God bless you. That's awesome. And Derek, just way to be Derek McCartney. That's great stuff. Derek McCartney. John Steele, what a great story. By the way, bethematch.org. Go and take the test. See if you can be the match for somebody and be somebody's lifesaver. We're going to take a time out here in the Stampede. We're going to talk Colorado USC with Coach Gary Barnett after the break. Second down, 6 to 21. Play action.
There it is.
Lobs it over the top. Wide open. Juwan Winfrey, the 50. And it's a foot race. 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Touchdown, Colorado. A strike of 79 yards. Hi again. Welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede. Along with Gary Barnett, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Colorado falls on Senior Day to USC, the 15th rated team in the country, 38-24. Not a great start for the Buffalo. Showed some fight in the second half, but still come up short in this one.
Well, you know, Mark, they played pretty well defensively in that first half. I thought, you know, they held that team to 14 points, and one of those scores, you know, was one that, you know, they were going to score no matter what. But, you know, the incident that occurred there at the end of the first half, the pick six that was thrown, that was unnecessary, and it was you got to admire the kids for bouncing back after that situation, because a lot of teams could have just totally dropped it from there. And these guys picked it up, came out in the second half, and played pretty well. When you're having a year like this, you make mistakes, and those mistakes cost you. When things are going well for you, you make mistakes, they don't cost you. SC, very talented team, probably a little better football team than we were. Quarterback's an outstanding player. He made great throws. But you know what? They kept plugging, they kept plugging, they kept plugging. You got to admire them for that. You got to boost them up for that, because you know, they played pretty hard in that second half, and they made enough plays that if they could have offset all the mistakes they made, they'd have been in this game. Yeah, it was 14-0, and the Buffs probably should have been taking a knee at the end of the half there, and they ended up throwing a pick six and went back that way. Missed the PAT to make it 20-0 at the intermission. There were mistakes in this ball game. You had 2 blocked field goals attempts by James Stefano. Hadn't seen that. Very flat kicks. So you had things like that happen during this ball game, that when you're playing a team the quality of USC, you can't make those kind of mistakes. Well, no, and then you got to hope they make some mistakes, and both mistakes they made ended up with the ball bouncing back up to them. You know, at a time we needed turnovers. So when you're having a good year, those things happen for you. When you're not having a good year, then you have happened to you what's happening to us right now. Yeah, Ronald Jones and Sam Darnold each fumbled the football. That egg-shaped ball that bounced right back in their hands, so they didn't turn the ball over. As I mentioned, it was Senior Day. We'll talk more about that, in fact, with Coach. But before the ball game, obviously always emotional when 21 seniors ran on the field for the final time behind Ralphie.
Last game's always an emotional day for our seniors. They've meant so much to this program, what they've been able to accomplish, bringing back Colorado football as we all know it. It's a great day for them, and it's a great day for us to be able to share that with them.
We come from a very small town on the western slope of Colorado, and it's just awesome that his journey has ended here. I was a Buffalo, and for him to come here was a dream he'd always had since he was a small child. So it was meaningful for him. Every weekend we've been to the games. We drive over from the western slope, and the last few years we've traveled to all the home games. It's been such a blessing to see him play and to watch the team grow.
You know, I'm just grateful to still be out here, and I'm happy that they're here for me, and you know, they've been a great support for me, and hopefully we'll get back here soon so that they don't have to put it on their arm anymore and they can just play with me. You know, Senior Day is a huge day anywhere, and being from Colorado and being able to go to school here and have this be my senior day, you know, it's a great honor. Unfortunately, I can't be out there with my brothers, but you know, it's still awesome to be able to be out here and experience the whole situation with them, and you know, experience the electricity of in this stadium. You know, both some special.
Certainly emotional before the ball game. 21 seniors run out there for the final time. Coach, you've had those situations many times, and a lot of tears, a lot of motivation, and afterward, a lot of memories for a group of 21 seniors. Well, there is, and those guys have been with you you've gone through so much with them. They've been with you for 4 or 5 years, in some cases 6 years for Jeremy Irwin. But yeah, it's really emotional. But you hurt for them. You want them to play so well.
And when they don't, or when it doesn't happen for them, it hurts a little bit more because of the day.
Right.
But the other thing is if it's the last game of the year and there is no other chance for any other game, then you don't know what to say. It's just really hard. But after this game, there's hope. There's still another game. There could be 2 games if they play it right. If they use the next week, the bye week, and if they get themselves ready and can play like they did in the second half when they play Utah in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the stark reality, though, for Colorado. There's no more room for error here. Now, you got a bye week next week, so guys can get healthy if they're dinged up a little bit. Hopefully, Ryan Molnar, by the way, will be able to get back and play against the Utes. But 2 weeks from this ball game with USC, they've got 1 contest left. They got to get a victory to get bowl eligible, and so there's no more tomorrow.
There's no we got to win one of the next 2. We got to win one of the next 1, and that's it. Or else, there's 80 teams that go to bowls out of 130. You don't want to be one of the last 50
no, that's
130.
Right. Is there advantage having that off week ahead of a game?
I think so. I think there is. Especially with the other team having to play. And in the year, anything can happen. You don't hope for injuries, but guys get, they get fatigued a little bit playing that many times in a row. But no, I think getting healthy and getting your head on straight and feeling the importance and the urgency of this game, you can use the extra week.
But the Buffaloes end up falling 38-24 the final score. Colorado now 5-6 overall, 2-6 in Pac-12 conference play as they've got the bye week, and then it's off to Utah. Also, it was this weekend not only senior weekend, but it was Hall of Fame weekend. And one of our Hall of Famers, the great Chad Brown, will join us next here on the Buffalo Stampede.
For all of you inductees, congratulations. Really proud of how you've represented this university, the legacy that you left. And one thing that I will tell you is our student athletes today, you would be very proud of what they're doing on the playing surface, in the classroom, and in the community. We've got an incredible culture here. Our student athletes are achieving at a very high level. And I believe it's because of the legacy and the tradition and the history that a lot of you have left. So welcome back.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Boy, we used to call him just Buff's great Chad Brown. On Thursday night last week, the Hall of Fame induction class of 2017. Now we got, does that mean your autograph's worth more? What does this mean now for you?
Yes, it is worth more. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hall of Famer. That's quite an honor, though.
It is an amazing honor. I'm so humbled by this. It's funny, they shouldn't give Hall of Fame to young guys because I don't think you have the perspective to appreciate what that really means.
Yeah.
So I'm humbled by this honor because I know the other players who were inducted in front of me, all the CU greats, not just players, but administrators as well, athletic directors, all those great folks. And to follow in their footsteps, it's truly a humbling experience.
It's kind of cool about this, too. Chad's from football. You had Mark Haynes from football, Stan Brock from football, Jay Humphreys, Jamila Lang from basketball. You had administrators, runners, skiers, a diverse class. I think it speaks volumes about the university's athletic department and what it's meant over the course of years.
And I think you identify certain universities with certain sports.
Yes.
And in CU, I suppose it may be football, but there's 20-plus national championships in skiing.
How about that?
Women's basketball has been in the Final Eight. So that type of success and all throughout the athletic program is what really impresses you as you get into this Hall of Fame experience.
We mentioned Stan Brock gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. A lot of times we think of skill guys, quarterbacks, running backs. I don't think we think a lot of times Stan Brock and what he meant to this program. That cat was outstanding and went on to a long, endurance-filled NFL career.
I was lucky enough to play against Stan when he was in the NFL. That's how long he played. We crossed over, and I played against Stan. Wow. So one of my goals as a professional NFL football player was to play as long as Stan did.
Yeah.
Or Cliff Branch. Cliff Branch got 18. Stan got 16. I finished at 15. So I fought the fight as hard as I could. Didn't get there all the way, though.
15 years, he's still walking, still talking. He's fine after that many years in the NFL. Hey, let's kind of segue to football a little bit. After last year's 10-win season for the Buffaloes, ranked in the top 10, winning the Pac-12 South, it hasn't gone quite like they had hoped. Thought or two on what you've seen from this team this season. You've done a number of games for the Buffs this year for Pac-12.
I have. Coach Mack used to talk about it's one thing to sneak up on somebody and do it once. It's much tougher to repeat. Now, instead of being that team people overlook, people have your game circled on this schedule. They've prepared for you. They're emotionally ready for you. And it's been tough for the Buffs to rise up to that type of challenge this year, replacing a veteran quarterback himself, Olufau, now with Steven Montez. So it's been in one of those tougher years where you have to kind of grind your way through it. But there's a chance to finish strong these last 3 games.
One of the great linebackers in Colorado history, obviously, is a Hall of Famer. When you watch Drew Lewis, what do you see from that athletic linebacker for the Buffalo?
Well, I think you used the right word, athletic. His athleticism is amazing, but he's beginning to get a sense of timing on his blitz. He's one of the top guys in all of college football as far as pressuring the quarterback from the inside linebacker position. I think he's going to be a big threat for the Buffs for years to come because he is so athletic. You couple that with that timing, it's really dangerous.
Well, he's always been a Buffs great. Now he's a Hall of Famer. I think we have to genuflect when we see Chad now. He's in that.
Bow to me.
There you go.
No.
2017 Hall of Fame class. We're going to take a time out here in the Buffalo Stampede. Joining us next from CUBus.com is writer Neil Welk. Down and 2 now from the 43-yard line. Play action. Montez scanning the secondary. Rifles downfield. Open. Juwan Winfrey grabbing the 35. Cuts to his right at the 20. At the 15. At the 10. At the 5. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Colorado. Juwan Winfrey. His second long score. This one of 57 yards. And we continue here in the Buffalo Stampede from Folsom Field following the final home game of 2017. Buffaloes fall to the Trojans of USC. 15th rated team in the land, 38-24. Joined now from CUBus.com by Neil Welk. Disappointing missed opportunities once again, and that seems to be kind of the reoccurring theme for the Buffs in 2017.
Yeah, no, Mark, I think you would say this game today was a microcosm of the season. They made just enough mistakes to give the other team enough chances to win. You go clear back to a touchdown that gets called back in the first quarter, on a penalty that they didn't need to make. Right. You go to a couple of missed field goals, blocked field goals. You go to a pick six that turns that the momentum around, and that's just enough to cut him down. As Mike McIntyre said, too many opportunities squandered.
Yep, when you're playing a team as talented as USC, and by the way, there's nobody more talented than USC in the country from a physical standpoint. Might not be the best team in America, but from a physical raw material standpoint, they are amazing. Speaking of raw material, I'm buying stock in Juwan Winfrey. I want to see more of that guy in the field.
I'm very excited to see Juwan have that kind of game. 5 catches, 163 yards, a couple of long touchdown passes. Got open in that secondary when not a lot of other guys could, and he played very well against a couple of very good corners from USC, and so that's a guy that's coming back next year. Certainly, some high hopes for him, showing what he did today. 21
seniors ran out here for the final time. I know you wrote a great piece on CUBus.com last week about that group. Great group of kids. Phenomenal a year ago. Maybe haven't had the senior season they would have hoped, though, but I know you've got some thoughts on that.
No, I just think if you're going to, whenever you judge a senior class, you take the whole body of work into account, and I think you look back and see where the program was when these seniors arrived and where it is today, and I certainly think the program is in better shape than when they got here, and so I think it was a good senior class, no doubt.
The Buffaloes do have work to do, though. They've got a bye week next week, and then they're on the road the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 25th, against the Utes of Utah, and that'll be the final game, and the final opportunity to win a 6th game, become bowl eligible for the 2nd year in a row. And over the weekend also, the Colorado men's basketball team got off to a 1-0 start with a nice victory over Northern Colorado. And late last week, early signing period, Tad Boyle picked up a couple of brand new recruits. So we talked to the head coach about his newest Buffaloes. Well, Tad Boyle's about ready to start his 8th season as the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. And today he's got his 7th early signing period. 2 players joining the Buffs for next season. One a local guy, Dalen Kuntz from Denver East High School, and then one from Beaumont, Texas, Elijah Parquet. You happy with them? They look like they're pretty
very
good.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, very. Yeah, you like everybody when you sign them, and then they get here, and sometimes your thoughts change. But no, these are 2 really good, talented young men from great families. They both visited here on the same weekend back in September, so excited about both of them.
Tell us about them individually. Now, Denver East, of course, you got Dominic Collier coming from Denver East a few years ago, so another Denver East product, and Dalen Kuntz. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Dalen's a left-handed kid who can really move move the ball quickly. He has got great speed from baseline to baseline. He's a very capable shooter, but he can really get the ball in the paint and attack the glass, which we like to do from our perimeter players. And I think he's got a chance to be an elite level defender because he's got good length, and again, that speed and that quickness is going to serve him well as he moves to the Division I level. Good to keep when you got a high-level recruit here in state. Keep that kid home at the flagship university? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we obviously Colorado is our home state. We want to build a border around it, and any player that has a chance to help us compete for championships in the Pac-12, we're going to sign him or try to, and we got that with Dalen. We feel like he's the best player in the state this year. Certainly has great upside as well. Plays for a great coach in Rudy Carey, and again, you know, the Denver East tradition. It's kind of nice to start with Dom and hopefully continue with Dalen. All right, so you bring another one in from Texas, from Beaumont, Texas, Elijah Parquet. Love the name, number one. Yeah. Number two, pretty good game that he brings with him? Yeah, he does. He's got great length for a guy his size, about 6'3". Got really long arms, can shoot the ball, can pass the ball, can dribble the ball. I mean, he's very multifaceted, which we like. Again, it'd be a utility type guard for us, and we're excited. Again, I think he has a chance to be a great defender. We like to switch a lot of ball screens, and we like to have multiple position players both on offense and defense, and Elijah kind of fits that bill as well. So really excited about him. Texas, another a key state for us recruiting wise. Well, a couple of exciting young Buffaloes there for Tad Boyle and the Buffs. Nice victory in that season opening game against Northern Colorado. What was your takeaway from the victory over the Bears? Love the young players. Love the young kids. Love McKinley Wright. That kid's going to be a fan favorite. I mean, he just has. That's just becoming an obvious comment by this point in time, isn't it? We love McKinley. He's an exciting, enthusiastic, energetic kid with a motor that doesn't stop on either end of the floor. Yeah, without question. He's got that basketball IQ, I guess, type of thing, where you see him make plays that a lot of players don't. Didn't shoot well in that opening game, but he's got a leadership quality about him, too. He does. I tell you what, the seniors respect the heck out of him already. You can tell George and Torrey, Dominique Collier, they all like him. They love playing with him because they know he's going to get them the ball. He's going to do the right thing. You know who might be a nice role player for this team is DeLeon Brown. DeLeon came in, had 7 points in the first half the other night. They were struggling a little bit on offense. He came in and gave him a really nice boost, and he's got a little jet to him on the offensive, in the lane, and so he's going to be a nice boost. You know, Tad has had nice situations in recent years where seniors have played very well. He's going to need a huge year out of George King, I think, leading this team. George has to do what he did in the second half the other night. 12 points, 9 rebounds. I think he had 2 or 3 assists. He's got to be able to do that for 30 minutes, not 15, and not get in foul trouble early like he did. Yeah, in fact, he only played 4 minutes in that first half. But the Buffaloes on the gridiron lost their final home game of 2017, 38-24 to USC. As we wrap up a Buffalo Stampede show this week, we'll talk to you next time.